Hello, happy afternoon. It is said that marriages are made in heaven, but what about marriage ceremonies? There is always a choice of in what way one has to get married. I mean, at what scale that marriage ceremony has to go wide and wider. Noted in a Jiffy is an interesting story from Sudha Murthy's Wise and Otherwise, which focuses on such an interesting element of marriages. So let's get started. Noted in a Jiffy. There was a time, some 3 decades ago, when the regions on the Karnataka Maharashtra border were poverty stricken. Now, those days are all but forgotten. Thanks to sugarcane and the constant supply of water from the Krishna, Malaprabha, and Ghattaprabha rivers, farmers grow cane 10 months of the year to supply the innumerable sugar factories that dot the area. Today, if there is scarcity of any kind, it is of time. An offshoot of this is the evolution of a new style of conducting weddings. It is followed mainly by the Jains and is known as Yadi Mei Shadi. It is a fairly simple procedure. As soon as a suitable girl is found for an eligible bachelor, elders from both sides sit down and compile a list or yadi as it is termed in Hindi and Marathi. This list includes all the things that will be given to the couple in cash and in kind. The wedding takes place on the same day with just the immediate family from both sides attending. About 30 years ago, a wedding was an occasion everybody looked forward to as an opportunity to eat delicious food and meet people. Says Premlata Reddy, a social worker who has helped organize some 70 Yadi Mei Shadis in the Ainapur and Athni areas of Karnataka. Today, the concept has changed because of increased affluence. Organizing weddings is a lot of work, but nobody has time. According to her, Yadi Mei Shadi has been an accepted practice for years in Maharashtra and is now becoming increasingly popular in the small border towns of Karnataka, where most people know each other and there are fewer chances of families not fulfilling the promises made in the Yadi. 25-year-old Chandra is among those who believe that attending weddings can be a waste of time. I might really love and respect my friend, but if he's getting married in a far off place like Belgaum, it will take me a day just to go and show my face at the wedding, he says. Chandra is a graduate and he helps his father manage their 20 acres of land under sugarcane cultivation. That day, my laborers may be in the field, and if I'm not there, the work will not be completed, Chandra explains. When Chandra's parents decided it was time for him to get married, they opted for a Yadi Mein Shadi. Having looked at several proposals, they zeroed in on 3 girls they considered suitable in terms of financial status and family background. On the auspicious day, they set out with Chandra to see the girls. The first two didn't meet with Chandra's approval, but the third did. Although it was almost 4 in the evening, someone rushed to the nearest town to buy 2 garlands, a thali, toe rings, a yellow sari and blouse for the bride, a pajama shirt and ring for the groom. Someone else was dispatched to buy rava, rice and sugar. All expenses with the exception of the food expenses which are generally borne by the family at whose place the wedding takes place were later divided equally between the families. While the couple got ready and the women of the house prepared a celebratory meal for all those present, the men assembled to draw up the yadi. Nowadays, even printed forms are available. The parents of the bride and groom wrote down all that they would give the newlyweds. Differences of opinion were sorted out, and the final list was signed by both parties in the presence of elders, specially summoned for the purpose. The documents were then exchanged. A date was fixed. It is usually after the harvest, when all the things listed in the yadi were to be handed over. The wedding was a quiet affair held in front of the house, and just a few close friends and relatives from the same town were present. There was no band, no reception, just a dinner for all those who attended. Those who favor this kind of wedding point out that it bypasses many customs, making it easier and cheaper for the parties involved. For one, horoscopes are not tallied and there isn't a particular muhurtam, that is auspicious time, for the ceremony. The wedding can even take place in the middle of the night. Priests have not raised any objections and the community has accepted the Yadi Mei Shadi means there will be no invitations, no gifts and no big dinners. However, there are some disadvantages in the system. The dowry system is still followed and it is very rare for a party not to live up to its side of the bargain as specified in the Yadi. Psychologically too, Yadi Mei Shadi can be tough on the girl who might find herself married off in just 12 hours and uprooted from her home and family. Channappa Gowda, a well-to-do farmer, had his three brothers married off in the new style. He himself couldn't attend one brother's wedding as he was out of town. He was informed a day later. Being the head of the family, wasn't he offended? Gowda smiles. No, my uncles and sisters were there, and we have known the bride's family for the past 10 years. He says, in what way would my presence have made a difference? My brother liked the girl, and if he is happy, we are happy, fortunate. The three weddings together cost Gowda rupees 10,000. Two weddings took place at his house. On one occasion, the girl's parents brought her to our home and we liked the girl, he says. For another wedding, although both parties agreed to the match, the bride's family wanted to come to the groom's house to prepare the yadi. They probably wanted to know more about us. After all, they were giving their daughter in marriage, says Gowda. And what happens if the girl's parents do not give the articles mentioned in the yadi? This does not happen 95% of the time, points out Gowda. All parents like to give something to their daughters. No one likes to cheat, particularly in small towns, because if they do, then nobody will respect them. Whether you prepare a yadi or not, marriage means faith between the two. I returned to Bangalore to find a bunch of wedding cards lying on my table. There were invitations in gold lettering, some were hand painted, a few bore photographs, and a few were plain. All of them listed a marriage hall, from the expensive Chamaraju Chaudhry to smaller auditoriums as the venue. Orchestras and blaring film music were expected at every reception. This is a different world where a wedding reception means a meeting place to pick up business contacts, display your status, written obligations through gifts, and show others that you are connected. We have to do it because we don't belong to the sugarcane belt where people accept things as they are. So, this is an interesting story which deals with the methods of marriage which are selected across sugarcane belt of Maharashtra and Karnataka. And when even if people are affluent enough to spend enough on marriages, they don't afford to spend much of their time in these celebrations. Whereas there is a different set of people who really wish to have a lot of time for marriage ceremonies and to meet people equally. So the basic lies behind the mindset in what way they want to spend their time and they want to spend their money. So here we come to know that knotted in a jiffy. Jiffy is in a very short time. People who get married in a very short time. This is the basic concept behind this. When the bride and the groom, they may meet for the first time, or there is a short time in between the decision of the marriage and actually getting married. Hope you all enjoyed the story. See you there at the next time. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.